KDKA.
It's 8:42, KDKA. I'm Larry Richard. John Shumway on vacation, back on Monday. And as of January 1st, this is the top story in America today, folks. The payroll tax cut has been in place all year, scheduled to return to 6.2% from 4.2%, means about $1,000 a year to each individual. Then long-term unemployment benefits for 3 million people are poised to expire, and doctors face an estimated 20 to 27% cut in Medicare payments. Big issue. United States Congressman Tim Murphy joins us. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning. Well, Larry, let's start with the facts. This expiration doesn't have to happen. The House passed a bill a couple weeks ago that said instead of having a 2-month fix, we sent over a 1-year extension of the payroll tax cut, which means for a family making $50,000 a year, that's $1,000, or $1,500 a year if they have a $75,000 income. So we sent that over to the Senate. We also sent over a 2-year fix of the Medicare doctor cut so they wouldn't get cut for 2 years. We also sent over the unemployment insurance extension with some reforms. The key reforms included such things as if a person is on unemployment, a state could require that person to take drug tests. They could, if they were not graduated from high school, they were to get a GED. They had to have extra job training. They had to prove they were actually out there looking for jobs and not just saying they had looked for a job on the Internet and collect an unemployment check. And we also said that some of that money for unemployment could go to an employer to actually hire them so they could get a paycheck instead of an unemployment check. We also did the Keystone Pipeline, which is 100,000 jobs of construction. Now, we sent that over to the Senate. The Senate said, you know what, we really don't want to do this 1-year, the 2-year thing for the doctors. We don't want to have these unemployment insurance reforms, and we don't want to have a 1-year tax cut. We're going to do it for 2 months, took out the doc fix, made that 2 months, took out all the reforms for unemployment, and sent it back to us. And we're saying, wait a minute. The President and Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid were all telling Americans a week ago, hey, we want a 1-year extension of the tax cuts.
Right.
We want these other reforms. And then they send over this 2-month change. Now, this is where it breaks down. So the Senate says, goodbye, we're going home. Just do the 2 months. We'll get back to you later.
They left.
They left. So we said, no, we're sending back. We're doing what it's supposed to do. The regular order in Congress is if the House passes a bill and the Senate passes something different, then the rules are each side appoints what's called a conference committee. They sit down and hash it out. They go between these two bills. They can add or subtract or whatever, and then they call us back in. Now, I'm ready to go back. And what I am amazed by is how this talk has turned into take what the Senate send us because they don't want to come back into town. Now,
they completely flipped it on you, as you know. From a perceptual standpoint,
right. They're
blaming you guys.
Exactly right. But look at what the difference is. What the Senate has sent over is about $166 in tax cuts for a family. We're talking about $1,000. You can do a lot of things with that $1,000 versus a tax cut. You can pay maybe 10 electric bills. You can pay about 6 weeks worth of groceries. You can pay 5 months of gasoline. You can do a lot of things instead of $166. So it is amazing to me that the Senate and the President and Harry Reid are now saying that we're doing a bad thing in the House by saying do what we originally agreed to, the 1-year tax cut for people, the reforms for unemployment. Now, you ask people about unemployment compensation. Do they think folks should you could use this money to get a job? You should prove that you're actually looking for work. And Americans say, yes, you should. So I don't understand why the Senate cut out these reforms and why they cut out the tax cut. That's the real story.
What do we do now, Congressman? Where do we go from here? I mean, the clock's ticking.
The clock is ticking. We've got plenty of time before the end of the year. We have already appointed members to go to the conference committee. What they do is they go back. They're there in Washington now, waiting for the meeting to be called, waiting for Harry Reid to appoint his folks. They sit down, they come up with an agreement, and they call us all back into town and vote on it. That's the key. That could easily be done, but that means the Senate, Harry Reid, has got to appoint his people to that committee. It's absurd to be hanging this out. And what they're basically saying to Americans is, we're just going to give you this little tiny bite at the apple and tell you we accomplished something. Americans don't trust that to happen. Do the right thing. Do the deal that was agreed to in the first place. Let Americans plan ahead. There's another thing that goes with this 2-month extension. Businesses, employers work on a quarterly report basis. If you tell them 2 months, maybe we'll get to 3, we're not sure.
Oh, it's an accounting nightmare.
It is, and that has been said so by many accounting firms and organizations that handle this. They said, basically, make this a year, make this extension, or don't do it at all, because it is going to be a nightmare. So we know what has to be done. It's the way things should be done, and I'm not going to listen to the Senate try and tell people we'll give you a little bite of the apple instead of the whole apple.
And we'll continue to hold our breath. We appreciate you on short notice coming on. United States Congressman Tim Murphy, thank you.
You bet. Have a great day.
You too. It's 8:48 at KDKA. There you have it. It's a very precarious situation. What will they do?